Hi there, it's Emma from Emma's Cards and Paper Crafts. Today I've got a kit that I've already pre-prepped. So this is one of the scrapbook kits. We're going to start off with layout 1 and see how far we get. So I've pre-prepped it into all of the little piles. So this pile here is actually my leftover scraps. So there will most probably be a bonus layout or two at least. So this is what we're going to work with. So this is the Made with Sweetness scrapbook kit, and today we're going to work on this one here. I haven't got any of my photos printed yet because I'm really not that organised, and plus I tend to make my scrapbook pages with the kits before I add the photos and kind of match the photos to the vibe of the kit rather than buying a specific kit for a specific thing. So it could be that like this kit will be made up in my album without any photos for a few months yet before I actually find the right photos to add to it. So there are ways I work around these things because we've got certain stickers and elements that actually get over your photo areas. So I will go through ways of sticking those down but without sticking them down and covering your photos. So let's get all of our bits and bobs together. So actually before I start, I've pre-prepped all of this, so I've already cut everything. So where it's white here is like the extras that I've got left over. And then I've labelled all of my pieces for each of my pages. So this is the pages we're going to make today. So this one here and this one here. So we'll start off with the left page. I'm going to pop all of the bits that we don't need out of the way for now. Just pop those behind me a second. So for this first page, we are using the plain background. We've got a large piece of the full width one, this one here, and then we've got a thin strip, this one here, and then it says we actually need to get some of the stickers and pieces, I believe. Oh, and I think this one is actually from this one too. So I'm going to pop these to one side, and I'm just going to grab my stickers and pop out pieces. One moment. So here we have, these are our photo placemats. So they will go in where your photos go for now before you actually add your photos. So there's quite a lot of these here, which means with this kit we've got quite a lot of places to put photos. Pop those out the way for now. And then I need to look at the instructions again. Where have I gone to put the instructions now? Up here out the way, of course they did. So here's our instructions. So we need this perfect day here. A strawberry. So actually it says on the back of them, that is even more handy. So look here, we can just pop out all the ones that say Project 1. I forgot it says that on the back. They're always updating these kits to make them easier and easier for people. So it may just be me, but I recall seeing a kit recently where actually the pieces of designer series paper were marked up for where you cut them. So it eliminates the instructions part and it avoids you getting anything wrong at all, because sometimes it can be hard to follow the instructions. I'm not going to dispute that. The amount of times I've had to double check where I'm cutting before I cut because I didn't want to cut in the wrong place. Luckily I do have a lot of spare design series paper for this, but that's not the point. I don't really want to be using my stash that's for card making and things when I've already got the stuff in the kit. There is a lot of flowers going into this and a lot of fruits. which is good. Oh, that one I might have to try and hide a little bit because it ripped a smidge as it came off. But that's user error. I'm just not very good at getting these out. And then some of these down here. So pretty much anything that says Project 1 will be popping out. Because Project 1 are these 2 pages that we're doing now. So if we don't need them for this first page, we'll definitely need them for the second one. I think that's all of the project. Oh no, there's 2 more flowers here that say Project 1. How many flowers? A lot of flowers. Right, now I think we've got everything. 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Right, so that's all of those parts we've got that we need. And then hopefully these say on the back as well, yep. So Project 1, it's actually most of these as well. I feel like the first project is always a lot of like element heavy, whereas then Project 2 and 3 are more photo orientated. But that could just be me. Might not be the case. There we go. So yeah, if you've seen my previous video, you'll know that I bought the suite that goes with this is from the online exclusives. I also bought the stamp set that can be used alongside this kit and the suite, so it sort of semi-matches them both. So it's all of those ones. So we've got quite a lot to work with if we want to make bonus pages. Oh, dropping things now. Right, there we go, that's carefully stacked up there. So that should be all of the things we've got here. So it does give you very, very accurate measurements of absolutely everything. I'm not doing that. No way. Even though these kits come with very, very specific instructions, I do like to have a little bit of creative freedom with them. So I ignore all of those measurements there, and I just wing it and just like, it goes there. I don't care if it's 1.5 inches away from the edge or whether it's 1 inch away from the edge. It's in that general vicinity, so that's what we're going to do today. So that's all of our pieces. I need to find some glue. I've got a lot of glues going on here. They've all been upside down, so fingers crossed they're all going to work well. So this one here is 1A because this is the first piece we're going to stick down. We're going to have to play glue roulette to see which ones are going to work for me. That one's glued over at the end, so that might be why the glue's not coming out. But I do have about, I won't lie, I'm probably going to say 8 glues on the go at the same time, and that is completely gunked up. But there is still glue in there. I knew there was glue in there, and I knew it was going to all come out at once. Absolutely knew it. We're just going to go with a tapping method, and then we'll spread it out in a minute. Oh, see, lots more glue in there. See, that bottle practically felt empty. So don't ever waste your glue. If it feels empty, it's not empty. It'll go on forever. Like, I was going to throw this one away because I didn't think it had that much in. And just look how much glue you're getting out of it. Look, and there's even more there. But I am determined to use this one up on this project, so. Right, let's put our tiny little nozzle back on again. Oh, I've got to forget you have to do it up the wrong way around. Right, let's put that one on the left so I know that's the one I've been using. In fact, we're going to use this end and use the spreader on the end to spread out our glue, because in some places it is thicker than others. So you can use this glue up this way as well. It does have a hole to come out this end, but I find it's a lot more difficult to get the glue out of this end as opposed to the other end. So I'm going to wipe off as much as I can from my spreader now around the edges. Keep that one up that way. And then this goes at the top of the page. And because I haven't spread my glue too much, we've got plenty of wiggle room. So we can slide it about. Now, where I did use the tappy method of getting the rest of the glue out, I can feel lumps and bumps under my paper. You can't see them, maybe a tiny bit there, but you can continue to keep smoothing and it will disperse the glue and spread out a bit more. But as long as you can't see the lumpy bumpies, it really doesn't bother me at all. So that's that one. And then I'm going to use this strip across the centre. Just checking. Literally is to cover up the join, like so. So let's pick a different glue that perhaps has a little bit more in it. Just because I don't want to use tappy method on this. No, that one's going to be one for the tappy method too. There we go. This one's got a little bit more in it. So I'm just tapping it down in my hand here to try and get it to come out the nozzle so that it's easier to spread, and I'm not really squeezing at all, just barely, because I don't want it to come out too thick and too much, but I want it nice and spread out. So that is going across the centre there. We're going to give it a little wiggle like that so that we know the glue has been spread out all the way along, like so. Next up, this one should have something written on it, but I did write it very lightly in pencil. Yep, 1C. Probably can't see it, but just about there, because I wrote it in the lightest bit of pencil possible. So you should just be able to see it. And that is going to go across the centre, roughly pretty much in the middle. I'm not going to stick that just yet, because there are bits that need to go underneath the edges. So it says here, use strawberry slush cardstock for the base, add 1 A and 1 B, adhere 3 prepped strawberry slush circles. So we've got these 3 strawberry slush circles, which will be in my pile here. So they are blank here, but these have got stamping on, and I'm going to hook out the stamp set, because surely that splodgy splattery stamp will be part of the stamp set that coordinates. So that's made with sweetness and then filled with sweetness. Trying to look at the... So it looks like they've stamped the flowers and strawberries over them all, but somehow that flower, I don't know if you can really see, you've got the odd strawberry, but then you've got lots of odd flowers around it. So unless you were to cut your stamps apart, which I am not doing stamp surgery, I don't know how they've managed to achieve that. I know it's ladybugs and flowers, so that would be that single ladybug there, and then clusters of those flowers. So let's find our strawberry slush ink, which conveniently is right at the front. And we need a stamp block. In fact, we need a couple of stamp blocks. In fact, for my ladybug, I'm going to use this one here. So when I'm doing my normal scrapbooking, I actually use this little camera icon, which is the exact same as your photo pages icon, so that I can make my own photo mats. I can't remember which stamp set this is from, and it never goes back in the stamp box because I use it so often. I'm going to put my ladybug on this little tiny one. So we want our bundle of flowers and our ladybug, like so. So let's pop these stamps and dies over to one side. So we're going to prep 3 of these circles. There's our ink. I'm not going to stick this card down yet because I want to see where everything sort of lays underneath it before I stick that one down. I'm also going to move this page out of the way because no doubt I'll be stamping off the edge of these circles. I'm just going to lay them all out like this so I can stamp them all at the same time. Going to go with 3 bundles of flowers on each. They probably stamped off on theirs, whereas I'm using it full. But do it however you want to do it, like so. And then we're going to put a few ladybugs just in the gaps. I'm going to do them all different angles, so as they're nice circles, we can just spin them around as we go. You could put them all in one direction if you want them in one direction. So this bit is entirely optional. You don't have to do this stamping. I just think it adds a nice little bit more dimension to the page. So those are done. Let's put these out the way so we don't get ink on everything, because me and inky fingers are a nightmare. I've got a tiny bit of ink down there, so there we go, gone. So we're going to bring in our main page again. Going to bring in our Misty Moonlight again and our instructions. So we are going to look roughly where our circles go. See, these looked a lot lighter. They possibly even stamped them in a lighter colour, but because it doesn't give you those specific instructions, it just says adhere 3 prepared strawberry slush circles. So these are in the light strawberry slush. So these are double-sided paper, but I think even perhaps they used the light strawberry slush here, whereas I've used the dark. I prefer the dark. And I think using the light circles with the darker ink, it just ties it in a bit more as well, because you've got the light here and the dark here. So we are just going to, put one here, and then one goes somewhere down here. What we've got to remember is the photos or the photo mats stick out over the blue slightly, so we don't want to put our circles too far under. They sort of want to be like halfway to like, yeah, this one's like halfway under, this one's like 3/4 under, and this one's only like 1/4 under. So I feel like without looking at the other little elements, that's quite a good estimation of where they're going to go. That one should be slightly towards the middle, I think. But I'm not getting my ruler out to measure. But I'm just going to look for my best butterflies, ladybugs I mean, as well. So I think something like that. So I'm going to get, where has it gone? Over here. I got myself some double-sided tape in all different thicknesses. So there, that's not even right. There we go. Now they're in order of different thicknesses. Just because I prefer to use a lot of double-sided sticky tape a lot of the time anyway. I'm going to go with a thick one and just put a couple of little strips across the back of these circles before I actually stick down my Misty Moonlight rectangle, just so I can gauge where everything's going really, so that if I don't like where it's headed, then I can move it before it's stuck. So that's pulled off there. All right, that wasn't quite halfway, so it's going to go about there, that's going to go about there, and then this one was going to be about only 1/4 under. So go put that one like that. I'll do this one next. Right, let's look at our I keep saying butterflies, ladybugs, and see where they're at. Right, that looks good to me. And that one's going to go about there. Move this out of the way and see that this is just marginally away from the centre stripe. So that's where we're going to go for that one. Sometimes I can peel these first time, and then sometimes it just takes forever to peel. So how do we like our ladybugs? Got it right, ladybugs. That one's going to go about there. So is there anything else that needs to be tucked under? This piece here. So this is going to be a pull-out pocket. So when we attach this piece here, we're going to use some very narrow, so we'll probably use this one just along the very, very edges here, so that I can create a pocket for this. I'll then put a piece of tape down the middle here, so that this doesn't go in too far. So I kind of, yeah, so about there is where I want it to be. So not quite halfway through. Let me make sure I've got this up the right way. No, I haven't. So see, you can see the writing there. So that's the back. So we're having the light side up. So yep, so that's roughly the same width as that. And we need to go right up against the edges. Otherwise we are not going to have enough room for our card to slide in and out. So we can use our card as a template. And make sure you can see, use our card as a template to make sure we don't put too much tape on, and make sure our tape placement is good as well. So butt this right up against this edge as well, like that. And then when our card's in, We want our strip to be down the middle here. So I'm going to put that. I want it to stick out just a smidge. I'm going to put that there. So that is going to create our pocket for this card at the side, and we can just use the normal thick tear and tape here. See, this is where I find it is a lot more helpful to have different thicknesses, different widths. Let's just double check our thing again. So there's nothing actually coming out of this side, but I could potentially leave this side open if I want to, so that we can tuck things in the side, which I might just put some thicker tape here and leave it as a second pocket. So this is where I like the fact that it gives you creative freedom to some degree. So I'm going to peel all of these. I think we're only going to get project 1 done today, because I am kind of squeezing this in one afternoon before I go and pick the kids up from school. So we're probably only going to get the first like 2-page spread done, but I'm pretty sure 3, maybe 15-20 minute videos is probably better bite-sized chunks than a full hour-long video, because that's probably at least how long it's going to take. So that is that there. So then it will work once I've got it in there. Or did I go and flip this around? No, that is the narrow tape. It's just getting it past that circle that's been a little bit awkward. There we go. Now it's getting caught on the other circle, typical. I'm just going to do this the easy way. Yeah, see, it's getting caught under that circle. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to carefully lay this back down again. There we go. So we can still pull that out when we want to. What is next? So the next step, it says, yeah, do not use adhesive along the 3-inch left-hand side of C. This will create the pocket for the tabbed photo piece. Adhere remaining photos as shown, embellish with pre-cut pieces and stickers as shown using stamping dimensionals on some pieces. So, we know I love dimensionals. We've got these pieces here, so let's actually see which of these we need. So, perfect day we need blueberries, strawberry, we need 3 of the chunky daisies, 3 chunky daisies, we need 2 of our leafy pieces, and then how many skinny daisies? 2 skinny daisies, and then I think that's it. Oh no, we need our second strawberry as well, the second one's at the top. So these 3 skinny daisies and 2 chunky ones should be for the other page. Let's just double check. Yep, that's what it looks like to me. So, in fact, let me keep my instructions right in front of me. Prop them up in front so I can see where things are roughly going. Okay, that didn't prop up very well. They're very, very flimsy. So these pieces are going on page 2. And then these pieces are decorating here. So, because we haven't yet added our photos, we really need to put dimensionals on the bottom half of this. You can add the others once you have completed your journal page. And I'm just going to use a couple there. Maybe a third one actually. Maybe 3 across the bottom. Let me just move this one slightly more central. And then we can use some edge pieces because they're nice and skinny. Just along these pieces here. So and because our photos are going to come down a little bit, that piece will go how do I pull off the peely paper? Doesn't it? I was like, why is it not sticking? I can go. This bit only goes onto the blue just marginally, sort of like that. That goes there. Now we're going to want some dimensionals on the back of these. So again, I'm just going to put one on the bottom of this strawberry because it overlaps our photo slightly. And that one just marginally tucks under there. So we can still lift these up, look, to put our photos under. Our blueberries do not encroach on our photos at all, so they can be fully stuck down. In fact, I need to pull this up a little bit because I should have put them under first, like so. And then we're on to flowers over the other side. Where are my mini dimensionals? I have to get some new ones out. Normal, mini. Because I always add dimensionals onto pretty much every order I do. When the old what's it called? Stamp and reward system was in place. You used to have to spend your stamp and rewards with every single order you made at the same time. They didn't sort of carry over. But now they carry over. I don't spend them straight away anymore. But when we did have to, I used to spend them on just buying glues and dimensionals for every order. My first few orders, actually, I used to spend them on getting all of my inks. But once I'd got my ink collection all together, that's when I started using them on adhesives instead. So then I always had a stock of them, and it kind of made them feel like they were free every time, because they were with my stamp and rewards. Let's have a look at that. Just looking at the way they've placed them on there. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but just to give you some sort of idea of how to place them. There we go. And then we've got a strawberry and a flower at the top. So we're going to do the opposite this time, because the bottom of the strawberry, well, this strawberry actually tucks under our photo, but if you want it above, you can have it above. I'm just going to put my dimensionals at the top, so that if I want it to hang over the bottom, over the top of my photo, the bottom of the strawberry to hang over the top of my photo, I can. So that one's going to go there. And then we're going to have another flower. This one does not go anywhere near our photos at all, so we can just go up there a little bit. And then over here we've got 2 more daisies and 1 more thing to go. I'm going to put a tiny bit of tear and tape on this one, because it's actually half tucked in the pocket. So it's just under the edge there. I'm going to put it like that. The dimension on the back of this flower. This one is over slightly. So I'm going to put it just like that. And then we have our last leafy piece. And that one can go up there. And then we just need to hook out our stickers for this page. There we go. And we should have 1, 2, 3 bees. So 1 bee, 2 bees, 3 bees. Yep, that's it. I think that's all the stickers we need for this one. And then that's that page. Done. So 1 bee, 2 bee, 3 bee. So here we go. Here's this one. So you see what I mean by the photos hang over the edge slightly, and of course we can tuck them right under still everywhere. But I have still finished off that page. You can add the photo placeholders if you wanted to. Sometimes I use the photo placeholders, sometimes I don't. There we go. But yeah, I'm not going to put them in on this one. I might use them. I might still use them on the page, but at a later date, because sometimes I actually use them to sort of like make a frame around the edge of my photo. So it's just got like a white border and then the photo in the middle. So that is the first half of this spread. Let's get out the bits for the other side of this spread. So there's not as much going on with this side as there was this one. Keep my sticker sheet handy because we're going to need those. But I'm going to put the first spread to one side and grab all the pieces quickly for the second one. I think I've got just enough time to do this one before I've got to go. So, in fact, let's stamp our circles again quickly. Let's get that done, because then we can literally stick, 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 and then we're done. Right, so bring our stamps back in, and ink. I'm going to go with the same again, I think. So 3 lots of flowers, and then just fill in the gaps with the ladybugs. So yeah, it doesn't matter that those 2 bits didn't stamp properly, where I didn't put it in the ink pad, because we can hide them. Not all of your flowers are showing on all of them. So again, I've missed here. So we'll just tuck those pieces under, no big deal. Don't know why I've bothered to stamp like near the missing bits, because they're going to be the bits that I hide anyway. So yeah. Right, I have approximately 10 more minutes with you. Let's get this one stuck down quickly. So there was me saying an hour for all 3 spreads. I think it's going to be like more like an hour per spread. So let's have a look at our instructions again. So we've got our main piece that goes in the middle, blue strip that goes over the top, and sweet memories that go up the side. So this piece must go around this way, and then I'm just going to use, because this is paper on paper, I'm just going to use some tearing tape for this rather than glue. When it's going on cardstock, I don't mind using glue, because glue ultimately does hold up longer. But when you stick paper to paper and put lots of glue on it, it often goes wrinkly, and we don't want that. So, and I'm just going to put one piece down each side. Like so. Yep, and our circles go on top of this piece, so circles will go down next. See if we can crack this whole one out in the 10 minutes that I've got. Because So like I say, this one doesn't have half as many itty bitty fiddly bits. Just got a few pieces on this one. So this is going pretty much dead centre. I'm going to use my squares as a guide. Make sure I get it level, like that. So I've got about an even amount down this side, an even amount down this side, and an even amount here. It might be slightly close to the top, but these three sides I've all lined up, so I'm quite happy about that. Circles. Let's get some tape on the back of these. It's a bit too long, that one. So, our two that didn't stamp very well, or the worst two that didn't stamp very well, I need to put over this side to be hidden underneath my strip of writing paper or journaling paper. I'm not sure which one's which, so that one's got a tiny bit. That one's our most perfect one, I think, and that one's got lots. So we need to see where this piece roughly goes. We have a tiny bit going off the edge, and then which one's our not so great one? That one's our not so great one. So this one is the one that's going to tuck pretty much all the way under, and let's just have it so we get a little bit of ladybug. So that's that one. And then we've got that one's got a little bit missing just there. So we're going to turn this one round, and this one is going to go slightly under the edge of this and right about there. And then this one goes up the top somewhere here like that. Next we're going to stick this piece down and use tear and tape. So yeah, it's got lots of jars of lots of pretty jams and honey and all sorts of this sweet. We don't actually use much of this side of I don't think we use any of this side of the paper actually in the journaling kit. And I've gone a little bit too long on both ends. Got a little bit carried away there. This is only a little bit. Oh, now it's stuck to my scissors. It's fine. It's fine. It's always fine. So with tear and tape, you can just flip it back over on itself because it's double-sided. It's going to want to stick to something, so if you stick it to itself first before it sticks to anything else, you're sorted. Right, so we need some flowers going on under here. Let me just get my page here. So the big flower is going to go underneath the edge. Like. So again, I'm going to use my squares to line it up against to make sure it's straight, or as straight as possible, like that. I'm going to have a little flower. Just going to put a little dimensional under that. Put that one there. And then over here we've got more flowers. So these three. And not much of these flowers encroach on our photograph, so we're pretty much just going to go with normal dimensionals here. This one just needs a big one in the middle. I'm still going to use little ones on the daisy, probably just one little one actually, just one on that one. Don't really need more than that for little items. Like that, and then like that, And then next down here we've got some stickers, but I want to show you how I do my stickers without having to stick them all the way down, so you can still put your photos underneath. So I've added my sweet memories at the top. So we've got a spoon and 2 jars. So these 2 jars here and a spoon. So what we're going to do actually is cut them out. So carefully around the sticker so that we don't cut any other stickers and we don't cut this sticker. Like so. And then what was the other one we need? The strawberry jam. Right, we can cut straight through here because I've already used these bees. So that is not a big deal. I'm going to carefully cut around our strawberry jam. I'm going to avoid that ladybug because I don't want to ruin it. There's that one. And then we need a spoon. The spoon doesn't really encroach over too much, so we're just going to peel the spoon, I think. Peel the spoon, and then we need one more buzzy bee. So one more buzzy bee, like so. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel the edge around the sticker off, throw that bit away, and then I've forgotten to put my blue strip on. That goes underneath everything. 1 second. See if we can carefully peel up. Or whether my double-sided sticky tape is too good. No, double-sided sticky tape is too good. So we're going to doctor it. Because it's not going to be seen, we're going to just cut off the end of it. I'm just going to snip it somewhere there. And we're just going to butt it up against that because it's going to be hidden under the jars anyway. So nobody's going to know except from you and me. And there's no such thing as mistakes, it's just happy accidents. So even our edge here, so we've cut it so that it butts up against there. Just peel off this one around the blueberry jam as well. So blueberry jam is the one that needs to be stuck down first, isn't it? Yeah. So we can stick this half of the sticker down. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut half of our backing sheet off. And we're going to stick it on there like so. With this bit like that, so you can still tuck your photo underneath. Need some tape on here. So that, and then put it down so it's hidden under there. There's that bit. And then our strawberry jam, because that encroaches on most of our photo, we are going to just chop off the very bottom of it because the bottom doesn't. The bottom goes right about there, so we can still lift this bit up, we can still lift this bit up to get our photo on. Our spoon goes right about there, and then our buzzy bee goes right about here, and then we've got our last daisy to go on. Where is that? So dimensional there. And then our daisy goes, I'm going to stick it off here, so slightly further down than it does show in the picture, just to make sure. I don't think we're missing anything now, that's everything stuck down. So let me show you this spread. So all that we're missing is the photo in the middle now, which I can add the photo mat. Let me just grab the photo mat so you can see what I mean. So here's your photo mat. You can literally tuck it right under everything and it's not going to be in the way at all. So I'm going to leave my photo mat there, You can move it further along, further down, and I've just realised I didn't even need to cut my blue bit anyway because it was supposed to come to about here, but happy accidents, never mind, doesn't matter. We've still got our blue strip on there, and like I say, you've got creative freedom with this. You do it how you want, really. So let me just bring in my first page as well. There we go. So we've done the spread 1, which is Perfect Day, and then this one here, which is the Sweet Memories one, just there. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the first spread for the Sweet Memories, what's it called? Mine's gone blank again. My memory is shocking these days. Scrapbook kit is the word I was looking for. Oh no, it's Made with Sweetness, sorry. But it goes with the, oh, what's the names of the other stuff called? So the stamp sets and that are called Made with Sweetness and Filled with Sweetness. So then you've got the stamps and the dies. So all of these coordinate. The Filled with Sweetness goes with the sweet. The Made with Sweetness goes with the scrapbooking pages. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing spread number 1, and I will be back and record spread number 2 very, very soon, and I will upload that as soon as possible so you can see that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.